Hi everyone, welcome to us today. I want to talk about something that probably everybody's talking about, which is Thor Love and Thunder, the movie, the newest Marvel movie of this phase. God knows what phase they're on. Honestly, I lost track, I lost count, so whatever phase they're on, this is just another movie of that phase. So, okay, where do I even start? Now, this movie doesn't come without its faults, and it has many faults, but I don't want to be the type of person who looks at the glass half empty. In fact, I'm going to talk about first the pros and then the cons, the negative and the positive. But first of all, I'm going to start with the positive because I want to be fair to the movie, to the people who created it, everybody who worked on it. I don't want to crap on their work, and so I'm going to get into talking about the positives of this movie. First of all, what is Thor about? Love and Thunder. The premise of the movie is pretty basic. As Taika Waititi is describing in one of his interviews, it's all about space Vikings adventures, and we see Thor embarking himself into, self-discovery, self-physical improvement, meaning he is no longer with the belly, and he's back to his, his muscles and his powerful, days, and pretty much what every girl and or boy wants to see, Thor with muscles, and the six-pack and the biceps and all of that, and so yeah, we see him going around having adventures with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but also he finds, he crosses path with his old flame, and this is in the trailer. This is not a spoiler, although we will talk about spoilers, we will talk about the movie itself, so brace yourself. We are going to talk about the spoilers of this movie. And he crosses path with his old flame, his ex-girlfriend, Natalie Portman's Jane, and Jane Foster, who is wielding Mjolnir. As you all know, Mjolnir has been only wielded by him and Captain America in Avengers Endgame. Amazing moment, by the way. That was probably by far the best moment in MCU history, in my opinion. So yeah, we see, and then we see him both. We see him and Jane going on this adventure to save a space from this entity, from this evildoer called Gore, played by Christian Bale, who is by far one of the best actors. He's a great actor, and I think he killed it. He's actually one bullet point that I have on my pro list, on my positive things about the film, which is Christian Bale as Gore, as the Butcher of the Gods. He is amazing at it. He's you can not only see there's like this creepy side to this to his villainy, but also there is a reason why he does what he does, and that reason is out of desperation, it's out of love. It's something a lot of people can relate to, which is why I find that this villain that he puts, he doesn't just put like he's not just a psychopath who's just like, I'm gonna kill people, I'm gonna kill all the gods just because I don't like gods. No, there's a reason, there's a motive as to why he does what he does, so he gives it a little bit more depth, and I think it's wonderful. And again, it's Christian Bale. I mean, he usually delivers one of the best performances that I've seen in the as a villain, right, in the MCU. So yeah, he's in the positive list, in the pro list. So kudos to that. The reason why I want to go 50-50 is because I don't want to look at everything as all bad, as some people do. And I want to give credit where credit's due. Okay, they did a lot of things good. There are things that you can find, bits and pieces sometimes, but that are really interesting. Like Black. There's a fight where it's all black and white, and there's a little bit of color, And that scene was really, that sequence was really, really amazing. That's visually, it was stunning. It was, I think it was really great, a great choreography. But not just that, it's just the whole black noir or esque. I mean, visually it was really cool. I liked seeing that fight. I think it was really amazing. So that's another pro on my list. Now, Jane Foster's characterization in this movie was way better than the previous movies. And we can see more, there's more depth to her character. And what I like about this is that we see her, we see more of her sciencey, of her sciencey side, basically. And the whole spin about, and it's not a spin actually, this is in the comics, she has cancer. We see her with cancer. She's fighting cancer at the last stage. We don't know which cancer in the comics is breast cancer. In the movie, it's not known what type of cancer she has, but she is dealing with or fighting with cancer. And what I like about this is that they put her on a level, and they put her character on such a human level, okay? Because cancer is something that people can have here on Earth, on planet Earth. It's not, we finally see a human who has human strength and weaknesses, and she is dying of cancer. And that is so human, you know, like, she doesn't have like superhuman strength as some might in the Marvel universe, for some reason, you know, get tossed around and going out without a scratch. I mean, she's just a human who's fighting cancer and who wants to get better, and she wants to find a cure on her own way without asking for any favors from any god or anyone like almighty. And she does find an answer in Mjolnir. So that's what actually she thought would save her, or at least would expand her lifespan. And it was another chance at fighting cancer. And I really liked that. I really liked her character development in this movie, her depth. I like that we got to see that more in this movie, more than the previous ones. And she was not only just fighting cancer when she got into Almighty Thor with Mjolnir, with a costume. She also was Thor's savior. I've read a few articles saying that she was going to save Thor. She did it out of love. She died because, spoiler alert, she does die at the end, and so it seems, depending on what you're looking for, or I mean, how you choose to see it. I'm unsure as to whether Kevin Feige or anybody else just had to clarify, no, she's dead, we're not bringing her back. But if so, if that's the case, yeah, then she's dead. And if they haven't confirmed nor denied anything, they haven't said anything about it, then maybe we will see her in the future, I guess. Anyway, so I've read a lot of comments about this, saying that we did not, yet again, we see her fighting not to save those kids, not to save mankind or space. We see her sacrificing herself for a guy. First of all, the whole thing about Love and Thunder, and the whole thing about a lot of movies, it's that love moves you, and love is a, like, engine that, whatever reason, whatever type of love we're talking about, whether it's for friends, whether it's for a lover, whether it's for family, you know, the mother or the father type of love, or from a son to his or her parents, then, and that she did it yet for love. I think we covered that part already. So anyway, love in every movie, or at least most movies, however shape or form you wanna see it. It's always like an engine that moves the character to do something, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And for me, I didn't mind that, but she was not just, what I liked is the spin. Thor, even though he found out about her having cancer, he didn't jump on hero mode and try to, like, tell her, no, you're not going to be Mighty Thor. I forbid you to be Mighty Thor. He didn't forbid her or anything. He allowed her to make her own choice, but he made it very clear what his feelings were and what he wanted, which I thought it was very mature of his side, of his part. And she chose, for some time, to not wield Mjolnir, because Mjolnir actually was causing her body to deteriorate more, rather than cure it, because of all the strength she had to pull from wielding Mjolnir. And I thought that was, again, something very, very humane. Something that people who have been through those sort of situations, not leaving the whole Vikings aside, but, you know, having someone sick and having those sort of conversations, that's something that people can relate to. People who have been in that position can relate to, which I thought that was really well done. And, you know, it felt like some sort of redemption of Jane's character as well. And speaking of not only her character, but also Thor and their relationship in this film, I felt it was more believable, quote unquote believable. I felt more chemistry in this movie than I felt in the previous movies. I think probably it a little bit more even than the first one, even though I felt that like there was like good chemistry from both of them in the first movie. But I think in this movie you feel it more. Like, they genuinely have feelings for each other. It's not all jokes and jokes and jokes. I mean, there are some parts, there are some times that you can see the love they have for each other. I love that we get to see also the flashbacks of their relationship, and I think that makes the whole thing make sense. Why Thor has been, you know, some sort in this journey, self-journey of denial, of so many jokes, hiding how he really feels, which is sad, because he misses the love of his life. And we see how they were as a couple, as how their relationship was, and how they grew apart, and how they split, and how he still has feeling. He still loves her. She's the love of his life, and I love that. And I love that we get to see that. And I'm sorry, but I gotta say, if you don't have a pinky hand holding in a love story, then is it really a love story at all? I love the pinky hand holding. I think it's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. And I love that they had that. I thought that was really, really cute. And see, I don't know, it made it, seeing Thor more vulnerable around Jane and awkward and pretty clear to him that even though, you know, he jokes a lot and he makes a lot of jokes, and he's not exempt of being of having feelings or feeling sad, and it shows you that how lost he has been for the past 8 years, as he puts it in the movie, that's been the time that he has, and it sucks that he has lost a lot of people that he has loved, and that's kind of sad. That made me sad. I'm not gonna lie. So I like that there was a little depth. There was more depth to their relationship, which was adorable. More depth as to how they feel for each other. They still love each other, and I like that we got to see that. Now, another thing that I was surprised, I don't know if this was announced and I missed it completely. I'm honestly going on a zero social media entertainment business type of, I'm going on a hiatus, I guess. I just found out about like the most important or major news by people who like some friends or family members who like the same things that I do. And they tell me, hey, do you hear the news of this, and that? And it's like, hey, no. Okay, and that's how I find out about things. But I don't know if this was announced, but Hercules, played by none other than Roy Khan, if you know who I'm talking about, Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso, playing Hercules is wow. I didn't see that one coming, and when he showed up, I was probably the only one in the room who was like, "Yeah, no way! This is awesome! This is awesome!" Because I love that guy, and I love he gets to play Hercules out of all the gods. Well, he's actually, I think it's demigod. He's not really. Either way, I love that. I thought it was pretty interesting, and you gotta love Roy Kent. Roy Kent, he's everywhere. Roy Kent. Anyway, yeah, actually they use an F word, which I'm not gonna use. He's everywhere, Roy Kent. Anyway, I love Ted Lasso. If you get a chance to watch Ted Lasso, because it's such an amazing and wholeheartedly show, just go check it out. So that's it for the positives, and it's nearly 20 minutes of positive things. So I'm gonna go to the negative things. I'm gonna try to do these as fast, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. So let's get it done with. Let's get it over with. And this is something that a lot of people are complaining, so it's not just me, and I'm glad I don't feel alone about it. But the overuse of jokes in this movie, it's outrageous. And just like one user of Letterboxd said, and I read it, when everything is funny, is everything really funny? Is anything really funny? And it's true. There are so many jokes after jokes and after jokes, and at some point, you gotta stop with jokes, man. I mean, I get it. You want it to be funny, a comedy, but things have to be a little bit balanced. And I felt like it was 70% jokes, 30% actual drama or character depth development, or yeah, and yeah, I would even say 80%, 80-20. I would dare say, and it was kind of maddening. Or at some point, I was like, "Please make it stop. Please make the jokes stop." And I'm sorry if I don't think that Taika Waititi has a problem with some members of the audience complaining about that. I mean, he's made pretty clear, abundantly clear, that he doesn't really give a rat's ass about that. Hey, he's making the millions on this movie, so why would he care? Well, he made it his own, so which is something that a lot of creative people like doing, like a project the way they thought, the way they wanted to do it, creatively speaking, and if they did it and they just like, aha. But yeah, I felt like a lot of jokes were like way over the nose, but at some point it's like, for instance, the whole Rock Dwayne joke, if you've seen, if you've seen the whole movie, and I didn't get it at first. The Rock was named Dwayne, okay, the partner of Korg, I believe it was, the name of Thor's friend, which again is played by, or at least is voiced by, Taika Waititi. And I didn't get the joke right away. I literally had to read it to get it. Like, the joke was that the Rock, the partner Rock, was named Dwayne after the Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And I didn't get that joke. And they had to come out and clarify and confirm, yeah, it's because of Dwayne. And if you have to explain your jokes, then if you have to go out and explain your jokes, I don't think that it was quite a success in the joke department, I believe. But that's just my personal opinion. I mean, some people thought, hey, I had fun, it was funny, and I liked it, and that's fine, that's completely fine. For me, I think there was too much jokes. It was like overused, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, I went to see the movie because of the nude scene, because I wanted to see Thor naked. Oh man, first of all, I mean, it's not that it's wrong in so many levels. There's nothing wrong with admiring or being in awe of somebody else's body. Yes, he has a great body, but we've gotten to this stage where it's all about the physical aspects of it. If you think about it, like, probably 99% of the heroes are like really ripped, or they're skinny, or they have like six pack, or or they're like really well shaped. And it's like in real life, that's not realistic, and it feels a little. A lot of people say that this movie was like dealt with fat shaming. I didn't really necessarily felt like it was dealing with fat shaming, but it was idolizing, or again, great physique, or putting a great ripped body like up there. And I get it. I want to have a ripped body too. Who doesn't want to have a ripped body? Or maybe some people don't want to have a ripped body, which is again totally fine. But even that scene, it was a bit cringy, because you took all. It was supposed to be funny again, but you took all the seriousness of what Thor was saying. It didn't have the depth, or it didn't have the seriousness that the scene should have had, because he was naked. Now, is naked then a synonym or for not being serious? You can be naked and say something serious. Yes, you can. But the whole point of that, in that scene, how it was played out, it was that it was supposed to be funny and serve for more jokes. Again, and it loses all meaning. It loses the fact that Thor was pissed off with Zeus about what was happening. It loses meaning. It loses weight, emotional weight. Whether it's because he was pissed, because he was mad, or because whatever, but it loses emotional weight because the guy was naked. It's like, oh, look at the butt, well shaped, and look at his body, and then the tattoos and all that. The tattoos, honestly, I think they could have done a better job in the tattoo department as to the design of those tattoos. But they did have. He had tattoos of all the fallen people in his life, so that was kind of a nice touch. Regardless, it was a bit cringy. It was a bit icky, like Captain America would say. It's a bit icky. Because there were so many jokes. There was lack of character depth. I think that the relationship, I think that even Thor himself, I think Chris Hemsworth in, I think it was Spider's Head, the movie that came out on Netflix, I think he has proven himself he can actually have dramatic skills when it comes to performing, and he can deliver more emotional and layers with his characters, And Thor has always been, the way I see it, is that Thor has always been written like a joke. And in this movie, it just feels that way. But it also feels like, hey, there's more depth, there's more dramatic, there's a more dramatic tone to Chris Hemsworth's Thor. Why don't we explore that more? But no, because they wanted to have a lot of jokes and make it as funny as possible as it can be, it just lacked in that department, in the drama, emotional drama. And there's nothing wrong with emotional drama. I don't know why people are so keen to see, no, let's make it all funny and not have, or at least as little possible as drama, because that is the most richest part of a character that you can have, the drama of it all. And I'm not talking about like drama, like high school drama, or no, I'm talking about real emotional drama. I think that they still lack in that department, in my opinion, these Thor movies. Hey, also, Guardians of the Galaxy, having them for just 2 minutes, I'd rather not having them at all if they're just going to be there for like 2 minutes. And the worst part of it all is that it was really showed how, that sounded really Canadian, how they wanted to get rid of Thor just that fast. It actually kind of like, I felt bad for Thor. It's like, they want to leave him, and because he's just the way he is, sometimes he's not an easy man to deal with, or an easy god to deal with. But it was kind of shitty how that played out, and the fact that they were just there for a few moments. Also, exposition. Good lord. With my sister, when I went to see the film with my sister, and she was like, what was up with all the exposition? This director did the same thing in Jojo's Rabbit, and I actually I really enjoyed Jojo's Rabbit, but it's true, like most of the movies he's made is like there's a lot of exposition, do we really need a lot of exposition? Can we just not see how the events play out in a normal 90-minute or more length feature film? By actions, which is dialogue and actions, actually. What drives the characters' intentions, or are the actions. They're not intentions, but what makes a hero, it's his actions or her actions. And we don't need, for what I think is like, we don't need to have everything explained to us. Why don't you just show us? Just show us what happened or what's happening on the road with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Just exposition. For me, again, it was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the usage of a lot of exposition. And I think this movie could have survived without it. But, again, creative decisions, I suppose. What was the point of that? I guess I'm not artistic person or creative enough to get it. And that's fine. That's fine. What was the point of the post-credit scenes? Honestly, what was the point? No, I'm serious in this. What was the point? We know Jane dies. She goes to Valhalla because she died in combat, and she was in a Viking costume and with Vikings powers, so she went to Valhalla, and that was pretty abundantly clear. Why did we need to see that she went to Valhalla in the post-credit scene? Was it because either A, they wanted to make sure to the audience that she's really dead, she went to Valhalla, like to explain it, she died, she's not coming back, or we're not done yet with Jane Foster. Why? In the comics, something similar happens, actually. In the comics, Jane does die. She's also, like I said before, she's struggling with, or she's dealing or fighting cancer, breast cancer, and she does die in battle. She goes to Valhalla, and audience actually not dead. And he's so moved by the sacrifice she made, saving everyone, that, and in the comics I think that Odin is not very fond of Jane, but he's so moved by this that when she goes to Valhalla, she gives her another chance at life. So she pretty much lives again. She resurrects, I suppose. The gods gave her another chance. And in that scene, the same scene that played out in the post-credit scenes is the same one that happens in the comics with one minor change. In the comics, when Heimdall asks Jane if she's ready to go into the reigns of Valhalla, Jane Foster says, "I'm not ready to die yet." And in the post-credit scene in the movie, that doesn't happen. He does ask the question, but the camera stays on Natalie Portman's character, and she doesn't say yes. I don't recall her say yes. She doesn't say anything, and then it cuts, and then roll out the last words. It's Thor will return, which apparently is something that surprised even Chris Hemsworth at the premiere, because apparently he was not aware that he would return. Now, either this is a decoy or not, I don't know. Does this mean that maybe they're not referring to Thor, but maybe they are referring to Mighty Thor, which it was clear that Mighty Thor, it's Natalie Portman's character, Jane. And so I do wonder if the post-credit scenes, and I don't know, again, if they have confirmed, if they've talked about it, if they've confirmed that, no, she's not coming back. But yeah. And, I mean, if she doesn't come back, I think it was a proper send-off. But at the same time, I was mad because I think that they finally cracked how to make her character, how to redeem her character, and I was pissed at when she died. It was like, I can't believe that they brought her back, gave her, like, a really kick-ass and kind of cool comeback, both on a human level and on a god level, and you killed her off just like that? I mean, what the F, man? What the F? Now, so yeah, I was pissed about that. Now, again, necessarily, there are actually split opinions about it, whether she might return. Some people say that no, I think they just wanted to get rid of her, so they gave her this proper send-off and all of that. Or some others who think she might return. She might come back. Why not? With Marvel, you never know. So I'm gonna go for the latter. You never know, she might return. And last but not least, I want to talk about something that, as a queer person myself, found struggling watching in this movie. And I'm not going to use the term queer baiting because I actually used it in the past for this movie, as I was talking to someone who saw it. But I don't think it's the best word to use because I looked up the meaning of queer baiting, and it's something, it can mean either two things. One, and actually I kind of read a little bit of the history of the where it originated. Historically speaking, first queer baiting, it was a term used to lure queer people back in the 50s out of the shadows or out of their closets by some really mean people. And so they queer baited them. As the word pretty much says that. That's my sister's dog sleeping in my bed. And they lured queer people and they punished them to, or when back the 50s when it wasn't allowed or it was not really well seen. So that's one meaning of the word, at least that's the origins of the word. Another meaning of the word queer bait is when all celebrities or people, let's just say people who are straight or heterosexuals, they do something or they say something that it could be taken in any way. Like, I think some celebrities, some singers have also have gone through that, but it's when straight or heterosexual people are called out by others because they might have said something that could have meant that they were queer. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Yeah, no, I've explained it the best I can. There were some singers who were accused of queer baiting because they've posted something that was either, okay, she's coming out of the closet, or what? I don't remember the name of the singer at the time. I think it was Billie Eilish, or I don't remember. Either way. And the third meaning is, which is the one that I think it's more relatable. I think that's more usable in terms of movies or TV shows, which is when a movie or TV show or a company or whatever, they pretty much promote a couple of the same sex couple, but when you see the movie or said TV show, nothing really happens between them romantically. So that's queer baiting, basically. When a production, it's all about shipping, or it's all about, oh, this couple, this I don't know, the first thing I can think of, or promotes two characters of the same sex as a couple when they're actually not, when they're friends. Nothing happens, nothing really happens, and that's queer baiting. And this is not the case for the Thor movie, so that's the reason why I'm not using that word. But Marvel still owes or not owes, because it sounds awful to say, like it owes, they owe us the world, doesn't owe anyone a thing. But there's still I think it's still misrepresentation, or still not representation enough, if that's what you call representation. And see, this is the thing about Marvel, what they do, and I know that I'm complaining, but what have we seen in this film that it was probably more queer, or it had more LGBTQ content than others? Yes, it does. That's for sure. It's more open about talking about it. Yes, it is. Because all we had in Endgame was just one of the characters, a really, really character that it's like blink and you miss it, the scene, who talks about how he's dealing with life after Thanos made 50% of the population, leave, and how this guy's living with it, and he's dating again he's trying dating again with another guy. And that's all you had for queer exposition. At this point, I just think it's just queer exposition. They only talk about queer characters, or the queer characters themselves talk about, having past relationships with either, same-sex relationships, and that's it. Or you see Tessa or Valkyrie just kissing the hand of a lady, and that's it. And I don't think that queer baiting is the right term, but I still don't think this is actual real representation. It's more normalized, for sure. It's more normalized, the fact that there are queer people in the Marvel universe. But that's pretty much it. I do want to quote something that I read. I don't remember by who. But they're using them as decorative design, posing as representation. And it kind of does feel like the right sentence to say when talking about queer representation in Marvel, because it does feel like that. It does feel like that. I mean, there are talks about Valkyrie having a girlfriend and how that girlfriend died in battle. There is the joke of Korg marrying another rock of apparently the same sex, which is I don't want to be close-minded, but rocks do not have sex, man. And I'm not talking about like they mate, but it's like they don't have gender. That's what I mean. Now, maybe from where Korg is from, maybe they do have gender. That's why I want to say I don't want to be that close-minded. But it felt like, really, that's all you're going to give me for as queer content. And then the other queer content is when Valkyrie kisses a lady's hand, and that's it. And for me, that's not like you've had Tony's character, Tony's love story with Pepper, which I love, by the way. This sounds a lot like I'm against heterosexual relationships, which I'm not. I promise you. I really liked Jane and Thor's couple in this movie. A lot, actually. But you have straight couples front and center displaying affection in your screen, and they have no shame in showing that. They have no problem in showing that. But you cannot give the queer community more queer characters that actually also display that affection towards others. I mean, the only film that has gotten a little bit farther to display that was Eternals, but then after that, it's just talk about queer characters, or talk about how they used to date, or they had boyfriend or girlfriends, the same sex. And that's it. After saying that this film is super gay, I didn't feel like it was super gay at all. Not that it needs to be. I know that. I know that there are people who don't care about these things, and probably those people are straight. And you know what? I think that they just don't get it. And I heard someone say, it's not that I don't care, I just don't care. But I think that the reason why you don't care, the reason why you don't get it is exactly the reason why you don't get it. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you. Thank you very much for sticking all the way to the end. Honestly, I haven't been recording because I'm still kind of dealing with voice issues. I probably should need. Never mind. So I'm getting back out there again with a podcast and more things to come. I hope. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. So we'll see what the future holds, and what other content will be out there. Oh, and I did enjoy one last note. A good note. Matt Damon and Chris Hemsworth's older brother, not the younger brother, as Loki and Thor respectively, playing as a play. I thought that bit was fun. Because who doesn't love Matt Damon, right? Anyway, well, thank you very much for sticking all the way to the end, and thank you, just thank you, and see you in the next episode. And as always, take care.